All right, let's move on to the next segment on the Money Show, and we are going to talk about your goals, which you've lined up as per your financial portfolio. Because what happens is, from our school days, we have been taught that goal setting is fundamental to our long-term success. After all, it is difficult to get to the desired destination without clearly defining the destination. But once you realize what is important to you, the goals set by you will help you remain determined to achieve them after all. But like all of the aspects of life, this applies to your finances as well. And this is where the concept of investing based on your financial goals or goal-based investing comes into the picture. Let's welcome on board Tarun Birani, founder and CEO, TBNG Capital Advisers. Tarun, good evening. Welcome to the show. And we've read about this a lot. We almost know also what one means by goal-based investing. But then often when it comes to implementation, people lack the understanding of deciding in the first place the exact financial goal that they want. And then comes the problem of having an investment strategy for that particular goal. So as a concept, how important is goal-based investing? And because we have so many goals in our life, how do we actually compartmentalize the kind of goals that one can actually decide for themselves?
So, good evening, Kavita, and thank you very much for having me here. So, to start with, I think you have yourself given a lot of detailing on the importance of goal. But let me give you a very quick summary of, at the core, goal-based investing is nothing but it's a personalized investment strategy that aligns your financial goals with your investment portfolio. It involves identifying your financial aspiration, such as buying a house, funding a children's education, or saving for retirement or financial freedom, or developing a plan that is tailored to achieve these goals. So what happens normally, whenever I take a lot of sessions and I ask people that how many of you want to become rich, everybody raises their hand, right? But when I ask how many of who you have planned your goals, I think only 5-10% of them tells that they have planned their goals and accordingly they are following the investment strategy. So the problem is the discipline, and I think that is where big problem is there. People don't understand that why it is very critical to have a goal-based plan. It is very important to make a framework wherein you define your goals in three parts: safety bucket, stability bucket, as well as aspirational bucket. So safety bucket is nothing but a bucket where you want to make sure tomorrow come what may, I don't want to be poorer than what I am, right? It's the basic plan, right? And if the foundation of the building is strong, you can build a skyscraper there. So very important to have a safety corpus. Apart from that, coming to stability, your children future, your financial freedom, any other goals, medium term goal comes under the stability goal. And apart from that, the aspirational is something wherein you want to do something, and again it is not related with money. It could be getting more power, getting more freedom. All these come under aspiration, and for that it requires a completely different mindset. So the investment need to be completely different for each of these category. Like for safety corpus, I will put in something like a fixed deposit, liquid funds, and debt funds, where I want safety is very important. I don't want value of my investment to come down. But for a stability corpus, yes, I have a good time frame available, and I am ready to take risk for that period. And aspiration is something where I am ready to make more concentrated investment and ready to make very outsized return. But it comes with high risk also.
So now, based on the kind of goals that you have, okay, based on your goal selection, you definitely need to pick up or select the right kind of asset class and investment instrument. How does one actually get onto that level? We have lined up our goals. We know that we want to achieve a particular financial goal within so many years, but what should be the criteria for selecting the right kind of investment instrument? Or according to you, you just need to have like a model financial portfolio, and based on that portfolio, you just assign the kind of accumulation years that need to be allotted to the portfolio, and your goals will automatically be achieved.
So the most important part is the first job is building specific buckets, right? The safety bucket, stability bucket, and the aspirational bucket. And in each of these buckets, you need to identify each goals with a very definite amount and a time period when you want to achieve it. Next comes the process of identifying what is your right risk profile, right? And again, risk profile is a subject I can take a 1 day session for it. Risk profile is identifying what is your psychology towards risk, right? How much your ability to take risk. So we need to get deeper there and understand what is the right asset allocation mix which take care of your risk profiling. After the risk profiling has been set in, we need to make sure the portfolio need to be made which is suitable to your risk profiling. So the suitability part is extremely important. Since we have done a very clear cut defining of safety, stability, and aspirational goal, it starts defining what should be, let's say, on a larger level, what should be your asset allocation. Once the asset allocation has been defined, then you start zeroing at the security level. What security you want to buy, which investment product you want to take, which instrument you want to take, all these comes after that. So I feel this process is a very structured process, and you need a very, very strong hand holding to get there. According to me, it's not a do it yourself kind of model. It require a prescription based model where somebody can really help you achieve this goal in a very time bound manner.
Important it is for one to analyze the kind of risk appetite they have, even after analyzing the kind of goals you want to achieve, and you've got a financial portfolio in place. Will you not go ahead if you don't have the right kind of risk management in place in your portfolio?
Yeah, risk management is extremely important, but risk management will come once you have a very clear cut idea that what is the purpose of this portfolio. What happens is once the purpose part is not very clear, at times you will end up at when the market goes down, you start panicking, and that's where you can take a very irrational decision. So risk management is not about selling the portfolio. It is about to ensuring whatever limits, prudential limits, which has been identified from an asset allocation framework, you always stay under that. And there is a proper rebalancing of the portfolio which we keep doing whenever we see that breach of that prudential norms happening there for us.
All right. Also, I want you to specifically advise our viewers on the short-term goals, because what happens, Arun, is for long-term goals, people are still prepared. Okay, they know that there are certain fixed long-term goals they want to achieve, but short-term goals, they are just planned randomly, and then a lot of times to materialize your short-term goals, you take out money from your investment, longer investment kitty as well. So that's something that one should be avoiding definitely. But how do you align and how do you identify your short-term goals, and when do you start planning for it? Because if it's an again advanced planning, then it might just fall into the category of your long-term goal.
So I started with that, right? I think short-term goals or the safety bucket is the foundation stone, right? And when your foundation is strong, you can build a very large wealth creation oriented portfolio. So the first and most important part, and as we have seen in times like 2020, where we have seen people having job losses, business losses, and we have seen a stress of another level. I think that's the best example we have seen in over last 1 decade. And in that environment, I have seen families which have created a very strong safety bucket or a strong contingency portfolio. They were able to tide this environment in a much balanced way compared to somebody who have not planned for it. Like 6 months you are out of job or out of business, at that point of time, how will you take care of your home, right? So it's very important to identify that very clearly and start working towards it, because that is one very important short term goal one can have. Let's say a goal, let's say after 1 year you have to make payment for your daughter's education or a child future. I think that could be again a short term goal. Any goal which is less than 1 to 1.5 year, according to me, will come under the short term goals. Let's say you have to make a payment for your house property in next 1 year. That also comes under short term goal. So you need to make sure you have adequate amount of portfolio available, which is not in a very high risk category. It need to be low to medium risk category in order to take care of the short term goals.
All right, so these are the tips for goal-based investing and one of the main thumb rules when it comes to your financial portfolio. Thank you so much, Tarun, for being on the show and helping our viewers with that today. On that note, let's take a quick break, and after that, let's get your portfolio strategies checked by Aditya Shah.